Louis Botha was a South African politician who was the first Prime Minister of the Union of South Africa, the forerunner of the modern South African state. A Boer War hero during the Second Boer War, he would eventually fight to have South Africa become a British Dominion. Biography. He was born in Greytown, Natal as one of 13 children born to Louis Botha Sr. and Salamina Adriana van Rooyen. He briefly attended the school at Hermansburg before his family relocated to the Orange Free State. The name Louis runs throughout the family, with every generation since General Louis Botha having the eldest son named Louis. Botha led Dinizulu's Volunteers, a group of Boers that had supported Dinizulu against Zimbabwe in 1884. He later became a member of the Parliament of Transvaal in 1897, representing the district of Vryheid. In 1899, Botha fought in the Second Boer War, initially under Lucas Meyer in northern Natal, and later as a general commanding and fighting impressively at Colenso and Spienkop. On the death of P.J. Joubert, he was made Commander-in-Chief of the Transvaal Boers, where he demonstrated his abilities again at Belfast Dalmanother. After the battle at the Tugela, Botha granted a 24-hour armistice to General Buller to enable him to bury his dead. Winston Churchill revealed that General Botha was the man who captured him at the ambush of a British armoured train on the 15th of November 1899. Churchill was not aware of the man's identity until 1902, when Botha travelled to London seeking loans to assist his country's reconstruction, and the two met at a private luncheon. The incident is also mentioned in Arthur Conan Doyle's book, The Great Boer War, published in 1902. But more recent sources claim that Field Cornet Sarelostausen was in fact the Boer soldier who, at gunpoint, captured Churchill. Another version claims that the unit to capture Churchill was the Italian Volunteer Legion and its commander, Camillo Ricciardi. After the fall of Pretoria in June 1900, Botha led a concentrated guerrilla campaign against the British together with Koos de la Rey and Christian de Wet. The success of his measures was seen in the steady resistance offered by the Boers to the very close of the 3-year war. Role after the Boer War. Botha was a representative of his countrymen in the peace negotiations of 1902, and was signatory to the Treaty of Vereeniging. After the grant of self-government to the Transvaal in 1907, General Botha was called upon by Lord Selborne to form a government, and in the spring of the same year he took part in the Conference of Colonial Premiers held in London. During his visit to England on this occasion, General Botha declared the wholehearted adhesion of the Transvaal to the British Empire, and his intention to work for the welfare of the country regardless of racial differences. He later worked towards peace with the British, representing the Boers at the peace negotiations in 1902. In the period of reconstruction under British rule, Botha went to Europe with de Wet and de la Rey to raise funds to enable the Boers to resume the former avocations. Botha, who was still looked upon as the leader of the Boer people, took a prominent part in politics, advocating always measures which he considered as tending to the maintenance of peace and good order and the re-establishment of prosperity in the Transvaal. His war record made him prominent in the politics of Transvaal, and he was a major player in the post-war reconstruction of that country, becoming Prime Minister of Transvaal on the 4th of March 1907. In 1911, together with another Boer War hero, Jan Smuts, he formed the South African Party, or SAP. Widely viewed as too conciliatory with Britain, Botha faced revolts from within his own party and opposition from James Barry Munnik Hertzog's National Party. When South Africa obtained Dominion status in 1910, Botha became the first Prime Minister of the Union of South Africa. later career. After the First World War started, he sent troops to take German Southwest Africa, a move unpopular among Boers, which provoked the Boer Revolt. At the end of the war, he briefly led a British Empire military mission to Poland during the Polish-Soviet War. He argued that the terms of the Versailles Treaty were too harsh on the Central Powers, but signed the treaty. Botha was unwell for most of 1919. He was plagued by fatigue and ill health that arose from his robust waistline. That he was fat is certain, as related in the marvelous account of Lady Mildred Buxton asking General Van Deventer if he was bigger than Botha, to which Van Deventer replied, "I am longer, he is thicker." Quote, General Louis Botha died of heart failure following an attack of Spanish influenza on the 27th of August 1919 in the early hours of the morning. His wife Annie was at home and was joined by Engelenberg, who had acted as a private secretary to Botha. Botha was laid to rest in Heroes' Acre, Pretoria. Of Botha, Winston Churchill wrote in Great Contemporaries, "The three most famous generals I have known in my life won no great battles over a foreign foe, yet the names, which all begin with A.B., are household words. They are General Booth, General Botha and General Baden-Powell." Sculptor Raffaello Romanelli created the equestrian statue of Botha that stands outside the Union Buildings in Pretoria in South Africa. Books on Botha. Biographical Engelenberg, Dr. F. V. General Louis Botha, Pretoria. J. L. van Schaik, Meintjes, Johannes. General Louis Botha, A Biography. London, Castle. ISBN 0304935018. Spender, Harold. General Botha, The Career and the Man. London, Constable. Historical Coutts Owen. The Anglo-Boer War, The Road to Infamy, 1899–1900. Arms and Armour. ISBN 9781854093660. Farwell, Brian. The Great Boer War. London, Allen Lane. Williams, Basil. Botha Smuts in South Africa. London, Hodder and Stoughton. Comprehensive commentaries on Smuts and Botha, or as Williams titled them in the last chapter of this book, Par Nobile Fratrum, C.J. Barnard. General Louis Botha op die Natalsfront 1899–1900. Kapstad. A.A. Borkamer. Fiction. O'Brien, Anthony. By Dolly Gray. Hartwell Artillery Publishing. ISBN 9780975801321. Retrieved 16 February 2015.